The insights you get through insight meditation aren't intellectual. Instead, they're perceived intuitively through your direct mindful experience of the present moment. Essentially, you can look within for insight into all important spiritual questions because you're part of the universe and connected to all beings. Your sense that your separate, independent self is partly an illusion, one about which you can gain insight through meditation. So, the Buddhist theory goes you can explore universal questions such as the nature of suffering or compassion within the laboratory of your own body and mind. Generally speaking, however, you progress through the four foundations body, feelings, mind, states, and mind objects because each one gets a little more challenging and presents more of a temptation to involve your discriminating mind. The point is to observe reality from a still, mindful state in which you simply reflect what's going on without analyzing it, judging it, or commenting on it. This is difficult enough to do when you're concentrating on your breathing. It gets a little more challenging when you're meditating on your mental state, which you'll be tempted to judge or change, or on something like tranquility, which you're supposed to examine in your own experience rather than think about it in an abstract way. The path of insight meditation is a fairly flexible one, so you're encouraged to find out what works for you. If you try something, a posture, a particular meditation, or an approach to help you stay present and concentrate, it's great. In fact, you're paying close enough attention to your own mind that you can tell what works for you and is also strengthening your mindfulness. As a beginner, you may want to listen to the guided meditations at first, like the ones included online at idiotsguide.com/meditation. Guided insight meditations tend to be very simple and basically just walk you through a meditation you could do on your own. Many people find listening helps them stay focused and gives them a sense of what meditative stillness feels like. Eventually, however, if you want to keep developing your mindfulness and concentration, you probably want to try meditating on your own way. Setting a posture. In order to aid in concentration, it's better to meditate in a quiet place where you won't be interrupted. However, you can escape some of the noise. That's fine. Just include it in your meditation as another thing to be aware of in the present moment. If you can designate a special place for meditation, it can help you get into the mindset, but it isn't necessary. Any of the seated positions described in Chapter 2 will work for insight meditation. While you should be comfortable enough that you can relax, take a position where you can also stay awake and alert. However you position your body, try to keep your back nice and straight. Don't lean back on anything until you really need to. You can then place your hands neatly on your lap. Lightly close your eyes to help minimize distractions. Ooh, the sun's out. Ha, that's hella funny. I'm like distracted by the sun as it's talking about distracted. It's just been raining all day. You could try to place your hands neatly on your lap. Lightly close your eyes to help minimize distractions from your surroundings. However, if you're drowsy, you can meditate with your eyes slightly open but angled downward towards a spot about 3 feet in front of you on the wall or floor. Basic practice. To help focus your meditation and gather energy for it, you may want to make a statement of intention before you begin your meditation. You might say something like yourself, like, I take this time to settle into my life and see things clearly. Or, may my practice awaken the great compassion in me. If you aren't familiar with this meditation, you may need to read part of the instructions, pause, then follow them, and then read them a bit more. Alternatively, you can listen to the guided meditation included along within this book at idiotguides.com/meditation. Get into your meditation posture. Take a few deep breaths and follow these instructions, taking your time with each one to explore it fully. Be aware of your breathing. Notice whenever your inhalations and exhalations are short or long without trying to change your breathing in any way. In the time with the motion of your breathing, say silently to yourself, breathe in. I breathe in a long breath. Breathe out. I breathe a long breath. Observe your breathing in a way for the next 5 minutes or longer if you want to. Watch your breathing as if it was someone else. Try to let go of judgment about your breath or your meditation. Continually to say silently, breathing in, I breathe a long or short breath. Breathing out, I breathe a long or short breath. If your mind wanders, simply turn your attention back to your breathing. See how deeply you can relax so your breathing is natural and free. Observe your tendencies to want to make your breath longer or shorter. Don't fight it with that impulse, just observe it. Simply watching your breath is a very simple activity, and your mind will want to leap away from doing it. Try to allow yourself to be very simple. Hi, YouTube. Let go of your verbal observations and take note of all the places in your body where you feel sensations related to breathing. Notice the coolness in your nose and mouth as air enters and the warmth as it exists. Also notice sensations of stretching or energy put into your chest, abdomen, shoulders, neck, arms, and lower body. Notice a change throughout your body as you breathe. For the next several minutes or longer, if you want to, make breathing something you're not doing with your whole body in the open, in an experimental way. Feel like how there's an actual no boundaries around your awareness and breathing. If you notice your mind wandering, try to take interest in your breathing and in your living experience of the present moment. When you need to return your awareness to your breathing, do so as gently as possible. Minimize the internal judgment of a reaction and simply let your breathing fill your awareness. Notice how complex the process of breathing really is and try to observe it so closely you don't miss anything out about it. For the last few minutes of your meditation, see if you can let go of your sense of an I who's separated from your breathing. Don't worry about whether you're meditating correctly because only brings up a sense of I. Breathing is the most natural thing in the world, so just allow it to happen. Just breathe wholeheartedly, and if in the most satisfactory and interesting activity in the world. It's best to set some kind of pleasant sounding timer to end your meditation, unless you're listening to a guided meditation, of course. If you use a timer, you won't be as likely to think about what time is it when you're meditating, and you won't be deciding at each moment how long you want to meditate. During whatever length of time you've decided, up to 10 to 30 minutes is recommended. Just relax into the meditation as best as you can. Many people find meditation to be an enjoyable thing to do. Others always find meditation challenging, but continue to do it because of the positive benefits it has. Regardless of whether you find meditation pleasant or not, it's not always easy. You may find it frustrating to follow meditation instructions and wonder whether you're meditating well enough to make any difference. You may also find your mind wanders relentlessly, constantly turning to thoughts of the past, future, or things going on elsewhere. Unfortunately, there are established ways of dealing with these challenges because you're definitely not the first person to experience them. In insightful meditation, your goal is to perceive reality directly with the mindful awareness. You want to reflect it like a mirror without biasing your perceptions with an extra thinking and analysis, and without trying to make things different. Your typical mode of operation is to grasp after the things you like or things you think are good or right, and try to get rid of the things you don't like or think are bad and wrong. It's easy to bring the same approach into meditation with you and start trying to make your meditation into what you want it to be or thinking it should be. Ironically, if you want to meditate well, you have to let go of consciously, willfully relaxing. Shit, I lost my track. Ironically, if you want to meditate as well, you have to let go of consistently, willfully trying to make up your Yep, okay. Be patient with yourself. It takes time to build up mindfulness and concentration, and it's common for beginners to be unable to closely follow even one's full breath without their mind wandering. Eventually, you'll find yourself settling to a stable state of mind where your thoughts and feelings come and go within your field of awareness and don't disturb you as much. Instead of striving to make your meditation better, simply include whatever you got going on, a wandering mind, anxiety, restlessness, physical discomfort, in your awareness. Rather than try to get rid of a problem or ignore it, actually turn your mind forward. So examines minds towards it and examines mindful curiosity. Notice I said mindful. This isn't about analytics of what's wrong so you can fix it. It's about seeing more clearly. If your mind is wandering, where it's going, the future of the past. Don't get involved in the content, just notice. If you're experiencing pain, where is the pain? Is it intense, dull, or throbbing? Do you feel it in a small or large area? Can you relax around the pain? Often when you turn the light of awareness on whatever is wrong in your meditation, it loses the ability to distract you. It can help you to stay committed to the process of meditation if you remember that some of the insights you gain from it can be humbling or even at least temporarily distressing. Sometimes new meditators wonder if the practice isn't going to work for them because instead of feeling happier, wiser, and calmer, they seem to feel more agitated, dissatisfied, and stuck in habits. Of course, it's not that meditation has made things worse. It's just that the new meditator has become more aware of what's actually been going on for some time. While facing difficult truths about your life and the world is never easy or a pleasant process, it's the first step towards change. In insight meditation, the biggest things that interfere with your ability to achieve deeper spiritual insight and happiness are called the 5 hindrances. Desire, making your happiness dependent on the things you don't have yet. Ill will, sloth or torpor, restlessness, and doubt. When you discover these hindrances in your meditation or on the way to the rest or in the rest of your life, it's an opportunity to see more clearly what's going on, potentially find a way to make positive changes. Hi, Silver Official. The practice of insight meditation can be lifelong. As it is in case with most forms of meditation, you can benefit from doing occasionally. Alternatively, you can intensively train to deepen your meditation and insight, or do anything in between casual and intense practice. The insightful meditation is all part of the Buddhist tradition. If you prefer, you can practice it without engaging in Buddhism much at all. But if you're so inclined, you can explore 2,000 years of teachings and practices that have been associated with insight meditation. One of the main supportive practices in insight meditation is keeping to the 5 precepts or moral guidelines. These precepts are very practical. The idea is that you create disharmony in your life when you break them. This not only causes suffering for you and the others, it agitates your mind and makes it more difficult to cultivate mindfulness and concentration. So insightful meditation students generally agree to their best or to refrain from killing. This doesn't necessarily mean not eating meat, but rather cultivating a reverence for all life, stealing, practicing non-harming, and generosity instead. False speech, sexual misconducts, and heedless use of intoxicants. Parts of the reason morality is an important part of Buddhist practice is that it reflects the behavior of a Buddha or an awakened being. When you gain insight into the nature when you gain when you gain insight into the nature of reality, you realize you're not actually separate from anyone else. Therefore, when you act in a way that benefits yourself at the expense of others, you're reinforcing your sense of separation rather than preparing your mind for deeper insight into the way things really are. Other effective ways to deepen your insight meditation are to practice with a community and find a teacher. The importance of having the positive moral support of others in your practice has been acknowledged since the time of Buddha, 2,500 years ago. Getting meditation and instruction from a teacher can also be valuable, especially when you can ask questions and get personalized advice. In insight meditation, a teacher is considered a spiritual friend, someone with more experience than you, who can provide some perspective and encouragement as you walk your own path. Attending meditation retreats. The most common way to deepen your insight meditation is to sit more often for longer periods of time. A challenging and effective way to do this is to attend a formal meditation retreat. People usually find meditation retreats to be daunting and difficult, but also deeply rewarding. At the very least, you have a chance to work on your meditations in a very concentrated way. Meditation retreats last from 1 to 10 days, but are more typically 5 to 7 days. Most retreats are residential and conducted in almost complete silence with a 24-hour schedule. Everyone keeps a schedule, and on each day includes about 8 hours of meditation, an hour or two of silent work practice, time to listen to a teaching, silent communal meals, and short breaks. You can look online to see if any meditation retreats are being held near you, but keep in mind that many practitioners travel some distances to attend them. If you're live in a major city, oh, what the heck? Other effective ways to deepen your insight meditation are to practice with the community and find a teacher. The importance of having the positive moral support of others in your practice has been acknowledged since the time of Buddha 2,500 years ago. Getting meditation instruction from a teacher can also be valuable, especially when you ask a question and get personalized advice. In insight meditation, a teacher is considered a spiritual friend, someone with more experience than you who can provide some perspective and encouragement as you walk on your own path. If you live in a major city, chances are good that there's an insight meditation or vipassana center or group near you. Even if you don't attend to practice with a community for a prolonged period, you may be able to attend a workshop or a meeting where you can learn more about insight meditations and how to do it. Such groups will usually also have teachers or senior students who can refer to the other resources or tell you where to attend a retreat. The Buddhist Insight Network maintains a searchable listing of insight meditation and vipassana groups that you may find useful. Alright, I gotta stop there.